Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Tutayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tutayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tutayambi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Ungate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Ungate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Ungate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. So now you can get yourself in a comfortable position. Wherever we are, we can practice meditation. Whatever we're doing, we can practice meditation. Anywhere, anytime. And right now, it's here and now. So you can gently close your eyes with your lips gently touching Your tongue resting on the upper palate, above the top teeth. This is a nice, comfortable position. It also helps actually for not creating too much saliva, so we don't have to swallow so much while we're meditating. Initially, bring your mind to your body, to your feet, and release any tension you may have from your toes, the balls of the feet, and the arches of the feet. And also from the top of your feet, and also around your ankles and Achilles tendons. Release the tension from your lower leg, from your calf muscles and your shin areas. And from around your knees, the front, the sides, and the back of your knees. And your upper leg, the quad muscles at the back, and the hamstrings at the back, and the quad muscles at the front. And also from your midsection, the glute muscles, the hip flexors, and the groin. And now you can release the tension from your lower back, on and just above your hips, and from your lower stomach. Further up your stomach and your sides, and to the center of your back, releasing whatever tension you may have. And now bring your focus to your chest area, underneath your arms and your upper back, the lateral muscles and the rhomboid muscles that are in between the shoulder blades and the spine. Release the tension from these areas. And now bring your focus to release the tension from your upper trap muscles that run between the neck and the shoulders, as well as your shoulders. And your upper arms, biceps and triceps. Your elbows and forearms, wrists, hands, fingers and thumbs. Now bring your attention to your neck and release any tension from the front, sides, and back of your neck. And the back of your head, and the sides of your head, around your ears and temples. Now release from your face, around your cheekbones, cheeks. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. From your chin and mouth, nose, sinuses, eye sockets and eyes. And your forehead, make sure you're not frowning. And finally, release any tension from the top of your head. And now briefly scan your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers and to the top of your head, just to see if you can release any more tension that may be left over. And to remind you, as you do this, as you release the tension from the body, naturally the tension from your mind is eased too, or released. Now bring your focus initially to the tip of your nose. The meditation object is the feeling of the breath as we breathe in and out. In the Pali language, this is known as anapanasati, which is translated to English as mindfulness of the breath. Sati means mindfulness. Anapana means the breathing process. As you breathe in, the air passes your throat, breathing in your nose, that is, passes your throat. It's quite cool. And as it enters the lungs, they expand. And due to this, the stomach rises a little. As you breathe out, the lungs compress, the stomach drops, and the air passes your throat a little bit warmer than it was when you breathed in. All you have to do right now is focus on your breath, the feeling of your breath as you breathe in and out. There's nothing else to do. Remember also that breathing is the most important physical activity that we do. Without the breath, there's no life. It's kind of like the surface or the canvas to paint, a painter to paint on. Without there being a surface to paint on, or the canvas, the painter can't paint into the sky, for instance. Also, focusing on your breath tends to have the effect of bringing the mind inside the body. So focusing on your breath, whenever your mind becomes distracted, thoughts arise, or emotional feelings arise, don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. Don't try to forcefully push them away either. Don't deny them. Just let them go, come and go naturally by refocusing on your breath. Also, if your mind becomes dull and sleepy, you refocus on your breath more brightly. This way, refocusing on your breath becomes the antidote for both the agitated and worried mind, busy mind, as well as the dull and sleepy mind. If any thoughts arise due to the attachment to sense pleasures, let them go naturally, refocusing on your breath. If any harmful intentions arise, let them go naturally by refocusing on your breath. And like I said, if your mind becomes agitated, refocus on your breath. If it becomes dull, refocus on your breath. And if you're having some sort of uncertainty in yourself or the teacher or the teachings, let it go for the moment and just refocus on your breath. What I just mentioned there are the 5 hindrances to meditation practice. Whenever one of them arises or more than one arises, just refocus on your breath. Be kind to yourself. Don't try too hard. Don't try too little. Don't be hard on yourself at all. And now we will practice like this for a few minutes in silence before we do the Metta Bhavana, or the loving kindness meditation. So now you can feel very pleased with yourself for engaging in this short meditation, keeping your eyes closed, keeping your body free from tension as much as possible. Fill yourself with universal loving kindness, metta, mahametta. Realizing that you deserve this, you deserve to be kind to yourself. You deserve to respect yourself and appreciate yourself. Fill yourself with so much loving kindness that it overflows and radiates now to your family and friends. May they be happy and free from suffering. May they be peaceful. And also radiate now to those you may regard as strangers, those people you know a little bit, and those you don't know at all. May they be happy and free from suffering. May they be peaceful. Now also radiate this loving kindness to those you may regard as enemies, those people that you find very difficult, maybe irritating. Maybe they even act in evil ways. Don't condone that bad behavior, but wish that they also behave better. Wish that they cause happiness and stop causing suffering. May all of these three types of people, your loved ones and friends, the strangers and the enemies, may they all have happiness and the causes of happiness. And may they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be peaceful. And now extend this loving kindness out further and further to include all sentient beings around your immediate area, those that are born from wombs, those that are born from eggs, those through moisture, and those through transformation. Whether they live on the earth or under the earth, fly through the air or in the waters. Actually, in this world, most of the living beings live in the waters, something that we probably don't consider that much. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And may they be peaceful. Now radiate this loving kindness out gradually further and further and further, like a tidal wave of loving kindness, to include your whole state or your county, and other states and other counties, until it pervades your whole country. And other countries, initially those that you're familiar with, then also include those that you're not familiar with and you may not know about at all. May loving kindness pervade throughout the whole planet. May all beings be happy, free from suffering, and at peace. And other planets too within this solar system. Loving kindness pervades the whole solar system. And other solar systems. It pervades the whole galaxy that we call the Milky Way. And throughout the whole universe. May loving kindness pervade throughout infinite space without limit. This infinite loving kindness, immeasurable. And be present here and now, and we will recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. Okay. So hopefully you feel really nice wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning time and you're waking up, or whether it's evening time, you're getting ready for bed, or middle of the day. Actually, I often say jokingly that somewhere in the world, it's always morning. Somewhere in the world, it's always daytime. It's always nighttime somewhere. There is no time. The Buddha actually enumerated three different times, didn't he? The past, the present, and the future. Makes it much more simple. Of course, we think about this quite often. If I wish somebody happy birthday, I often say, we are older than we used to be, older than the past, and we're younger than the future, and we're ageless in the present. So if you want to be ageless, be in the present. Don't worry about the future. Don't dwell on the past. If you dwell on the past, so often we tend to bring up the negativities that we remember, or even the good things. Then we have attachment to them, but they're not here now. If you're always worried about the future, you tend to be anxious a lot. The future never comes. As this present moment finishes, we think it's the future, but actually it's just the present moment. This present moment, if we cling to it, actually we are living in the past. So just be present. And so today's subject, in also the next few weeks probably, is actually the implementation of the meditation practice. Get to know what it is we need to do. It's going to sound quite simple, but to implement it, to practice it consistently, constantly, with accuracy, is maybe a little bit harder, depending on how much we've trained our mind already. Remember that to get to the top of a mountain, we have to take one step at a time, one breath at a time. Sometimes we'll be able to run up the mountain. Sometimes we have to be more careful. In other words, eventually we can transcend the mind. We can purify all of the negativities. We can perfect all of the good qualities that lead to what we call enlightenment. Never forget this. Another thing I often say is that if you get too much pride, if you get too much arrogance, focus on your faults. Realize that we are not free from these faults yet. If you get down on yourself or even depressed, focus on your good qualities because you have them for sure. And as you recognize these good qualities, you will help to reinforce them until they become it becomes more natural for you to be able to focus on these good qualities and increase them and decrease the faults. So I've written myself a few notes just so I don't forget any aspects. So it's what we're talking about. You could say it's called training in higher meditative stabilization. One of the 3 higher trainings the Buddha taught that is also known as the Eightfold Path. The higher training in morality and discipline, this higher training in mental stabilization, and of course the higher training in insight or wisdom. It's the mind abiding one-pointedly on its object, called samadhi. Also, another word that is important in Pali and Sanskrit is shamatha, or calm abiding meditation. It's not only the practice of the meditation, but it's to realize samatha, realize this one-pointed concentration where the mind is tranquil, free from agitation, free from dullness. Part of the effects of this, of realizing this, is that we experience bliss of physical and mental pliancy. We become able to deal with anything, no matter how difficult. And deal with anything, no matter how much we attach to something. We're able to deal with it in this moment, freeing ourselves from this attachment. If supplemented with taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, then this is Buddhist practice. Because remember that Vipassana meditation, which is penetrative insight meditation, this is unique to Buddhism. Shamatha meditation is not unique to Buddhism. Some other meditative traditions, such as Taoism, some of the Hindu traditions, and so forth, actually practice a form of meditation as well. But if this is supplemented by taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I can't emphasize this. I can emphasize this strongly all the time. Really encourage you to continue to take refuge. Doesn't matter how advanced your practice is. We must take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha until we reach enlightenment. Don't think it's just a foundation practice. It's just the first prayer that we recite a lot of the time. So supplement this practice with taking refuge. The Buddha is like the doctor. He prescribes the medicine for our sickness, which is avijja, or a lack of knowing, lack of understanding, or we can call ignorance, attachment, and aversion, these three poisonous attitudes or states of mind. So he prescribes the medicine of the Dharma. And then the Sangha, which is actually known as a fourfold assembly. So in the older language, bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, upasaka, upasika, or the ordained males and females, and the laity, males and females. The Buddha prescribes the medicine, and then the Sangha, and in particular the ordained Sangha and the teachers and so forth, administer. They're kind of like the nurses in the hospital that administer the medicine. We constantly must base our practice, our meditation practice, on this refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Now, furthermore, if it's also supplemented with this altruistic intention that we call bodhicitta, or awakened mind to enlightenment, that we have the wish, the aspiration of attaining enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, that we attain enlightenment for their sake. This helps us to give up the attachment to self, to realize the emptiness of self, or the no self. At the same time, helps us to develop this immeasurable loving kindness and immeasurable compassion that we can call bodhicitta, or the mind that is aiming towards enlightenment and helping others to do likewise. Then you could say this becomes what we call Mahayana practice. I'm not talking about tradition now. I'm talking about the individual practitioner's state of mind. Doesn't matter what tradition you're either ordained in or that you practice, whether it's the Theravada tradition, Mahayana tradition, or Vajrayana techniques within the Mahayana tradition. Doesn't matter. Really, to have this intention, it becomes a great practice. So using that word Mahayana, the great vehicle, from the point of view of your intention, not splitting it up into different traditions. I think this is an error that we make sometimes, even in Buddhism. But remain in your tradition, but develop this great mind of compassion for the benefit of all. Then also we have, where am I here? The mind and body become pervaded by joy and bliss as an effect of this practice, especially as we supplement it with taking refuge in the Triple Gem, or Ratnatraya, or Triratna, taking refuge, as well as having the bodhicitta, or the great compassion intention. Many special qualities are attained. We could say things like perceiving things on a much deeper level, Some people may even call this clairvoyancy or things like this. This is not the goal, though, remember. The goal is to go beyond all of this, all of the worldly attainments. You can attain what we call the 10 siddhis, or special qualities like this, 8 of them being similar to the one I mentioned, but the highest ones are bodhicitta and the realization of emptiness. So in other words, the compassion and the wisdom aspect, unified and perfected. It leads to penetrative insight or vipassana, this meditation, and the realization of the stages along the path. We can realize it, as I mentioned, realize this wisdom that we call the wisdom of emptiness. Emptiness doesn't mean nothing, okay? It's not like you have a bucket and it's full of water, and then you tip the water out and you go, the bucket's empty. That's not the emptiness we're talking about. It's not the emptiness that is the opposite of fullness, okay? This is still thinking from a dualistic point of view. This is still thinking based on concepts or conceptual thinking. It's beyond that. Also realizing the interdependency of all things, from the tiniest dust mote to the largest of physical bodies throughout the universe and universes. From sentient beings that are this big to sentient beings that are bigger than you can imagine, including us, because we're not bigger than we can imagine. But in fact, it's funny because I'm 6'3", right? Some people say I'm really tall, especially in the Buddhist world, because of being in some Southeast Asian countries and other Asian countries throughout the history of Buddhism. Mainly, I'm quite tall, but compared to the, maybe 7-foot basketball player or something like that, I'm actually very short. It's all relative. So this size, everything is interdependent from the subatomic level to the gross level. That's to do for that one. And then also the meditation, the location. You could say you can meditate anywhere. But it is also very important that, especially in the beginning, that we set aside an area that is really, really peaceful. Maybe, if possible, if you have the room in your house or wherever you live in a temple, don't do it where you're studying even sometimes, like maybe writing something. Have a spot that all you do is meditation there. Try not to do it where you watch TV, if you watch TV, because your mind is so used to it. It's reinforced the habit of watching TV and being entertained. I've noticed that we are now less than 1 minute, so I'll just wrap up this and then we'll continue on next week. So anyway, meditate wherever you can. Sometimes you can even, if your meditation is improving all the time, you can go to places that you don't like and meditate, busy places, but don't do this too early. In the old days, the monks and nuns, they would go to the charnel grounds, maybe that's what we call the cemetery and things like this, to give up fears, face reality, face impermanence. So please practice very well. I hope you've enjoyed this short class today, and I really look forward to spending time with you next week and onwards from there as well. Practice Dharma well. Share it with others through your actions, through your words, through